What's your favorite Tom memory?
My favorite Tom memory, man. I'll always remember the time when I first met him in the locker room. You brought it up during your speech. He just came up to me. I was getting my ankle taped by Jimbo, the great Jim Whalen. Right, Jim Whalen? Whalen. It's been a while, Jim, man. I just called you Jimbo for so long. I'm forgetting your last name a little bit.
No, you got it.
All right,
you
good. I got it, though. And he was taping my ankles, and Tom just came cruising by, you know. I was just a good old rookie, and he just walked up to me, and he goes, "Hey, I'm Tom Brady." And I go, "Very nice to meet you, Tom Brady. I'm Rob Gronkowski." And then he's like, "Let's get after it this year." And then he walked away, and I just was like, shook. I was like, man, Tom Brady just came up to me and introduced himself as Tom Brady. Like, of course, I know who you are, Tom Brady's. But that was just one of the coolest moments I would remember, you know, for the rest of my life. And we just, you know, got to work from there on out. And he was all business right from the beginning. He really was. Like we said, what he puts on, his persona, what he shows,
That's
he
what
truly
he is.
believes in. And he was all business 24/7 when he was in that building.
What was your favorite moment, too, while we're at it?
My favorite moments were the ones where, like, we'd be throwing routes or something, and, like, he would yell at me or something. Like, I remember my rookie year, we put in a 4-wide personnel group the first day of rookie or the first day of veteran camp. And so it was me, Wes, Joey Galloway, and Randy. And we put it in there. And I was the Y, and I did the right thing, and I ended up dropping the ball. And he starts just yelling at me. "Jones, what the?" And I like, oh, snap. And then as soon as we got in the locker room, he came up to me, he goes, "Hey, you know, if I yell at you, that means I like you." And I was like, well, you must really love me then, bro. That was kind of like those moments where, you know, he was getting on you. That's the stuff you remember you like, or, you know, the stuff when we'd be training out and thrown on a field or something. Those are always the great memories that you'll remember. Yeah, it's the big plays of that and the other, but I think it's the behind the scenes stuff was my favorite.
I would have to agree with you, man. If he gets on you, he sees potential in you, and that's why he got on your ass all the time. He got on my ass all the time my rookie year. I didn't really like him my rookie year. I mean, he was just getting on my case just nonstop, and it was kind of mind fucking me so much that I couldn't be myself out there sometimes. I couldn't run the right route because I was just thinking so much, because there was just so much on the plate at first. I got a coach telling me to do this. I got Tom telling me to do this. And then finally, you just figure it out and it all clicks. It took me about halfway through my rookie year, and then obviously going in my second year, it clicked to a whole nother level. I mean, we went for 21 touchdowns total, including the playoffs. But just my rookie year, he was on my case. I remember I ran a flag route, and I ran inside the guy instead of getting outside of him, and he flipped out on me in the meeting after the practice and told me he's never going to throw me the ball again. And, like, I got butthurt, and Algie Crumpler saw it too, and then he just tapped on my thigh, and he was like, "Yo, Gronk, don't worry about that. Tom's just being Tom, man. Just don't worry about keep doing you." And then it kind of, like, you know, put a fire under your ass, though. And that's what Tom was so great at doing. I didn't really realize that's what he was doing either. Like, he was just trying to get the best out of you, and it kind of lit a fire, you know, under my ass. And then I just wanted to prove Tom wrong. Like, all right, I'm going to run this flag route every time now, and you're never going to throw me the ball, but I'm going to be open by 5 yards, and you're going to look like the idiot now. And that happened, and then he threw me the ball about 600 more times from there on out.
So that was also, that example is an example of why Tom was Tom, because he knew what kind of guy each guy was. Like, he could challenge Rob. He could challenge me because we retaliated to that challenging, like, in a whole nother, like, that was the way it got us going. You know, other guys he didn't do that with, and he would do it in a different way. You know, then that's the sign of a good leader, is when someone knows what to get out of the guys and how to get it out of them.
And I've seen this before. Coach Belichick and Tom challenging wide receivers, and they don't step up to the plate after the challenge. And let me tell you, those wide receivers or tight ends were gone the next week. So, hey, if you don't step up to the challenge, you're gone. That's why I love football. That's why I love sports, because there ain't no politics here, buddy. It's either you got it or you don't.
Swink or swim.
A couple guys said, don't ever put your hand up like you're Randy Moss for the entire route. That's a no-no. You got to be Randy Moss.
You got to.
Yeah.
I remember.
Did you ever put your hand up?
Always. And I would be
yeah, but you were pretty good. So
it'd be more like but I remember I did it once, and Tom, I used to do it early in my career, and Tom came up to me and goes, Julian, I fucking see you. Don't put your hand up. Like, he yelled at me when I was like a young player about it. And so I didn't do it until I got older and I started catching like 100 balls. And then I would be doing it again. And I would only do it in like the red area when like you get a little scramble and they would pee us. If they pee drop, they're only rushing 3. And Brady, he'd have time. So I'd always put my hand up because he'd see that red glove. That's a touchdown. I want a touchdown.
Red gloves. What's the maddest he ever got at you?
He never really like.
I was fishing for a story.
Yeah, I don't got anything.
You got along that well. That's a great credit to your friendship.
I remember my first day though with them, or my first spring practice with the team. They put in 4 wide, and you go into rookie camps, and you're with rookies, and then the Bucks get there, and then the top dogs get there, and like your reps go down and stuff, and like you sit and you're watching fucking Tom Brady execute at a high level, throwing fucking beautiful balls to Randy Moss, and that was crazy. But the first day I go in, they put in a 4 wide package, and I was the Y, and I ran this hook route, and Tom threw it to me, and I dropped it. And, like, he just goes, Jules, catch the fucking ball. And I was, like, tailing between my legs, thought I was getting cut. Like, that's the one time. Like, it was just nuts. That's the only time I remember him.
Well, because it still had to be surreal.
It was still very surreal. I mean, like, yeah, I was watching him.
How could it not be?
I was watching him win Super Bowls in 8th grade on the asphalt, saying like, "Hey, I'm Tom on the fucking," because he was a Bay Area guy, and I never liked Indy because I got the tail end of that whole thing, the Indy Pats.
Sure,
but I never liked Peyton Manning. He was always the guy. He was the best guy in college. He was the best guy in high school. His dad was a pro. You know what I mean? He was just he was the guy, and he was a fucking stud. Yeah. I like Tom because everyone always, at that point, early in the Super Bowls, people were still saying Peyton was the best quarterback. Remember?
Yeah, look, I had a phase even as somebody who loved Tom because I just was like, I loved it. The same reasons you brought it up, too.
Just an underdog. And like, he was fucking hungry.
Honestly, like,
and he won games.
Towards the end, I started like rooting for guys I knew or guys that, would come through and work with us in the offseason or something. It became more personal. But like, I started rooting for like his resume. Yeah. That it wasn't even about the Pats anymore. It wasn't about being from there. It was like, I just want the resume to keep going. And I'll admit that, earlier in that window, even when he got his first one, which was crazy to me because, I mean, that was a huge deal. All of us still kind of loved Bledsoe, even though the writing was on the wall, was sort of the evolution of the whole thing. I remember we had Bledsoe on the show once, and I was like, let's do a deep dive into this. He was like, all right, cool, whatever, no problem. Just mention the winery. Couldn't be a nicer guy. And my co-host that was filling in that day was from Dallas. He's like, okay, so on the same lines, like when you got Bencher Romo, and I was like, oh my God, this is the worst 12 minutes ever. We're like back to back. Like I get the first one, and this kid was a Cowboys fan. So he's like, let's do the same topic, but different location. So that's just an aside on Bledsoe. But I was guilty of the Manning thing because I don't know that I really, football is weird because I think most of us that talk about have literally no clue. We don't know what the protections are supposed to be. We don't know what the coverage is supposed to be. We don't know what the routes are supposed to be. We don't know what the reads are supposed to be. Like you have to really know. And we're all watching the wrong angle. And so I'm always a little admittedly unsure. I'll be like, hey, I think this guy's good. I think this guy might not be, but there also could be a version of things that I don't quite understand. And hell, if I were a quarterback and just point to a guy to make this route thing all the time, like Romo used to do, then you're watching on TV being like, it wasn't on Romo. Yeah. It's like really smart to do all the time. Just like, hey, like the cut symbol with your hand. But when I was watching Tom early, I'm like, well, he's not as good as Manning. And then it was like, wait, you want to see what and then every year he'd come back with a piece. Like his play action was incredible. Then the pop on his arm, like what he did to build himself up and then to turn to this guy. And then it's like, oh, you want me to do a Randy Moss season? I'll throw for 50. you want it to be about me and not the defense and special teams and all this stuff. And it's like he had 3 different careers in the same career. Granted, longevity is part of it, but
now you saw early Tom. What do you think what's the biggest thing he developed, or what did you see in the later part of his career that he developed through his career? What made him special to you?
The willingness, one, to learn, not have that much ego to where he couldn't, got frustrated with not getting his opportunity. I respect Tom so much for when he got that opportunity, he took it and ran with it. And I think, when I said on the Dynasty, we were going out, we were doing our little team dinner, and myself, Tom, Lloyd Malloy, going up, and he was like, I ain't giving this shit back. That's all you can say is that's the spirit, hey. But me and Lori looked at each other like, bullshit. That's $100 million. And hey, you going back to the pine, big buddy, when Drew come back. I mean, that's just what we thought from the business side of it. But when he was out there to play, all we asked him was don't blow it. You know what I mean? Don't turn the ball over. He didn't develop into Tom Brady, the best that we ever seen in our life at that time. He was still a young guy. It was, we had a run game. Our defense was phenomenal. You're not going to put up a lot of points on it. We had like the number 1, number 2 defense in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were like that. So he got to, come in easy, not as much pressure. But when it was time, that's when you kind of seen that something special about this kid is when, in crunch time, as a young buck, he was cool.
Always.
He was always real chill.
Same guy.
And then you start seeing him take more of a leadership role, a more vocal role, because he wasn't that vocal, before. I don't think he was that confident to get up in front of the team when you got guys, vocal guys like a Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, and those guys. They did a lot of the talking. You know what I mean? Lawyer, he was a big talker. Sometimes you got to tell a lawyer to shut the hell up, man. We're trying to go home. But he like to get the end of the speech. I know I'm gonna hear this when he see it. But sometimes I'd be like, lawyer, man, would you shut the hell up so we can go home? Long ass day, But Tom eventually became that person to, talking. He gained everybody's respect, man. So, much love to the GOAT.
Was there a specific game where you're like, all right, we could win with this guy? He's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. It may not have been that first season, that first Super Bowl, but somewhere along in this 2003 season, you guys were 14-2.
From the time that he won the Super Bowl and became this big phenomenon and, everything that had happened and transpired during the season, you seen it right there. He came in the next, season with a different type of confidence, different type. No, he didn't let the fame get to his head to where he wasn't willing to put in that work, and he did that because I'm telling you, I know we gave him a hard time because we didn't trust you yet. You know what I mean? You just got here. Yes, you're our teammate, but it's our job to talk shit every time in practice and throw it back in your face. We was all talking at all times. He throw that over here. Sometimes I wouldn't even pick it up. I just bat the motherfucker down. They gonna throw that bullshit. That's a pick. Come on, man. Willie McGinnis is at it. Vrabel, Vrabel was hilarious.
Give me some Vrabel story.
Vrabel, man, it is nothing that is off limits. When it comes to, Vrabel and his answer, whatever he might say, as long as it ain't, it might even be on a borderline personal, for Vrabel. He might say something about your mama, your sister, just anything, but that's how he motivated, you know what I mean? And like I said, he would just touch that line and back up off of it, you know what I mean? Vrabel was the guy that passing out the damn drinks before practice. It's cold as hell. We used to have to drive. See, Jules, you came in when the house was built. Yeah. We had to drive to practice, man. We in there a little bunch of Pop Warner kids with shoulder pads and helmets and Benzes and shit going to practice. Everybody got their little Vrabel got the flask over there. Everybody go take a swig. So next thing you know, everybody keeping something in the car. So we out there, it's cold as hell.
Cold.
That sounds like you today.
Huh? Oh yeah, that's man. Hey, Mike Vrabel, thanks, man. You inspired me.
You remember the scouting process when you guys were scouting Brady?
Really, it was, the number one thing you want to see on a football player is what does he do in the games? It's, it's kind of a bottom line business. And when you get somebody who goes in and plays well in the games, that's what gets your attention. And we had, one person you never knew, great guy, Dick Rabine, was our quarterback coach who unfortunately died during training camp in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Got on a treadmill and, had a heart issue and he died. But, you don't try to make it too complicated. If a guy goes in the game against good competition and plays well, that is what we're trying to do. It's not about, the combine stuff, which is important. But, it's really, what does the guy do when he gets on the field against good competition? And so you get Brady, hey, have a great bowl game against Alabama. And play well when you're in there. There's a lot of things as a player you can't control, but what you can control is what you actually do when you get out on the field.
He always used to talk about that. When did you know he was a killer?
When Tom's rookie year in 2000, he was like, he was like the third string quarterback, and he was not going to get in the game. Unless if you have two guys get injured in the same game, he can get in, but it wasn't going to happen. And after practice, he would go grab our young rookie tight end, Chris Eitzman, and take him over on the side and make Chris run patterns for him. But it wasn't just running patterns. Tom wanted to call the play. It's 3rd and 6. All right, Eitz, this is the play we're going to run. Call it out, because Tom wanted to put himself through the situation. Here's the way I'm going to call the play in this situation. It's not just let's just go run around, play catch. We're actually thinking a game, thinking situations, and I always figured if a player's going to stay out late after practice, somebody should honor him by going over and watching. So I'm just standing watching this. This guy, he's really trying to get ready to play, even though he has no chance of playing this week. And of course, Tom's the guy. If he wanted to get in the right stance, how do you get in the right stance? You practice it in front of the mirror. You just do. Being obsessive compulsive can get you in trouble sometimes, but you can also lead to great results.
Yeah.
And that's the way I kind of look at that. Tom is the ultimate obsessive compulsive, among players, because he's not, Tom Brady didn't just drop out of the sky a Hall of Fame quarterback. He made himself into a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yep.
And when people would tell me at the draft, I work hard as Brady, hey, you're full of shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. And that's
100% correct. I got there. He already had 3 Super Bowls, and he was still flying in a coach week 11 to work on his little fundamentals after a practice.
But you know what?
Was when he was a 4. That's what people don't see.
They don't see. They don't understand. And that was kind of like when I was talking about being impressed with Peyton Manning warming up before the game. When it's football now, it's dead ass serious, 100% every time. There's no, you don't take any plays off in practice.
He never did.
Never did. And you know what? He would if you ran around first time hey Jules, we really want to do it this way, and then he expects you to get it right that second time. Oh, yeah. Hey, if you might not quite understand the first time, that's not a problem. Screwing up after he explained it to you, that's a problem.
Make a mistake, you just can't make the same mistake twice.
Right.
And with him, I was a punching bag for him because the more success that we had, he could never really get on guys as hard as he wanted to because they've been watching him since before they were born.
Tom throws it.
Mismatch.
Yeah, whenever there's a mismatch, Tom throws it to the mismatch every single time, basically. 99% of the time he's throwing to the mismatch, and he's not looking at anyone else on the field when he sees that mismatch. Even if, Julian, you were wide open by 20 yards or whatever, it doesn't matter. He wasn't looking at you because you weren't the mismatch at that moment. I was the mismatch there. He considered that a mismatch because there was a linebacker on me. It didn't matter what linebacker. KJ Wright, great player, but he didn't care. Tom didn't care. Whenever he saw a linebacker on me, he always told me, I don't care what linebacker is on you, Gronk. I'm going to throw you the ball because that's a mismatch. You're faster than linebackers, and you're more athletic than linebackers. So right when I went out there, I knew that ball was coming to me, man.
And it's also another thing where, I think we were in the fringe. What were we on, like the 36? Or were we the 30s?
What was it? How big of a touch? Was it a 28-yarder?
It was 22-yard.
22-yarder. So you're right there. You're about to hit that red area. And anytime you see a defender like a linebacker 5 yards off on Rob, it's automatically a mismatch. Because what people don't realize, Rob was faster than every linebacker, and he could accelerate. So instantaneously, once that ball is snapped, and you see that linebacker as a quarterback doesn't give any ground, and Gronk's going full speed, that's a layup. You know what I mean? Because he's got to flip his hips. Gronk's going full speed. Gronk's big enough to play through contact, even if the guy tries to grab him. Like, that's why it's such a mismatch. That's why we only saw that look one time. We saw that look once, and then they stopped doing it because it was a 22-yard touchdown.
Yes, and like you said, I knew I already had the advantage as well. I think he would have been better off playing me up tight, up press coverage, because that's where we're kind of even. I mean, I had acceleration, but I didn't have acceleration, like an insane acceleration where I would just absolutely burn by a linebacker. But once I got going and I was in my stride, you couldn't stop me then. That's when I was lethal. And then when he was I think he was like 8 yards off of me, I knew I could get in that stride, get on his toes, make a little move at the top when I got on his toes, and then boom, went right around him for the fade route. And Tom threw a nice ball too, right on the money, man, right on the money.
Even if they press, though, that's bullshit. You were quicker than him.
Yeah, you're right. I was just being humble, Jules.
Right. I'm following Tom wherever he goes, and y'all, it was almost like a movie. This figure walks out, and it's like, there's nobody in Boston, not really many people in America that are bigger than Tom Brady. And I'm like, who am I really seeing what I'm seeing? You know who it was?
Who?
Hove, bro. Jay-Z. I met Jay-Z for the first time with Tom Brady, dog.
Best Tom story you have.
12. Man. First day. Very first day I got there, coming out of LSU, we believe in stepping in there and trying to go in and make a difference. We ain't scared. We're lining up trying to do it. So I got in there and got behind 12 for the first time, and Tom turned around and looked at me, looked forward again, looked back. Nah, Rick, get out of here. Kev, come on. And he sat me down before he even handed me the first ball. Told Kev Falk, come on in here and take the first.
A real LSU running back.
Real LSU back, a GOAT, a legend. Got to give it to him. But
K-Feezy.
He did. He kind of humbled me on that very first day.
Did K-Falk talk to you about that afterwards or anything? Did he call you after you got drafted to the Patriots, LSU, or was there like a coolness?
With Kev?
Yeah. For
sure. Kev hit me up, let me know, and then Jarvis Green had left there.
Yeah.
And so the LSU guys kind of welcomed me in when I got that call. So that would be a good story. But I got a better 12 story. It's off the field. And because Tom never went out, kind of never did much. And I remember the first time Tom ever invited me to his crib. I got to say that. I don't know what year it was, but we had done practice or something. And Tom was like, Rid dog. And he's going, Rid dog, come here. And I ran over there. I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, look, I want you to come with me. And I'm like, what? Come with you where? I'm like, where? When? Where I need to be? So he's like, meet me in Boston, gave me an address. I didn't even know where I was going. Didn't matter. I was going with 12. Quarterback invited me out. So I haul ass up the highway. What's that, 95?
Yeah.
Leave, because everybody thinks Patriots, Boston. No, the Patriots are in Foxborough. That's a freaking hour ride from Foxborough, 45 minutes.
45.
From Foxborough to Boston. But Tom gave me his address, and I remember texting mom and dad. I'm like, man, Tom just invited me to come over here to go meet him. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't care. So I went on up and drive to Boston. I don't know if he even remembers this, but I was like, got to his house. He showed me around the crib. I'm like, where are we going, bro? Like, what's the move? He's like, man, just come on a ride with me. So I hopped in the back of the car, and we leave his house, go downtown. Tom's the man, rides through, traffic's everywhere. I'm thinking it's like a Red Sox game or something like that. And as we pull up there, Tom literally pulls up and cracks his window like this much. And didn't even have to say much. They kind of knew who he was and let us ride on through. And then we parked across the street from the stadium. And I'm like, the stadium's packed out. And I'm like, there's not a baseball game going on. What is the deal? Well, we go in there and park, and we walk back across the street to the stadium. When we walk in there, it was a concert. So bring you back to this time and this day and time. Walk in, and we go behind the stage. Justin Timberlake is walking onto the stage. So I don't know if y'all remember Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were performing in Fenway Park. Of course, Tom has the plug, and he's inviting me in there. I'm like, bro, I'm the man. You know what I mean? Like, Tom invited their running back up there. I'm rolling with QB1. Like, I'm with 12. We're going to the stadium and get in there, and he hollers at JT, "Oh, JT, da, da, da." And they're like homies. I'm like, dog, how tight is that? The story gets better. From there, we go and watch JT go on. I think we might have watched like one song or something like that perform, or maybe it hadn't even started. And we walked back across to where his car was. So when we walk back across to where his car was, I walk in there and I'm following Tom wherever he goes. And y'all, it was almost like a movie. You know, this figure walks out and it's like, there's nobody in Boston, not really many people in America that are bigger than Tom Brady. And I'm like, who am I really seeing what I'm seeing? You know who it was?
Who?
Hove, bro. Jay-Z. I met Jay-Z for the first time with Tom Brady, dog. And I realized how tight they really were. So when I walk up there, I'm shocked. I'm like, bro, pick your jaw up. Act like you've been somewhere before. You know what I mean? Like, get your shit together. You know, like, I got to at least be cool a little bit. But I'm like, whoa. Man, Jay-Z had on these gold chains, bro. I'm talking about stacked up, almost touching his ear. And he comes in there and he daps off Tom. And he was like, and he called me Rid. I want to say he called me Rid. He said, Rid, can I pick you up in fantasy this year? And before I could even say anything, I remember this. Tom touched me and he don't even know. He was like, you damn right you could pick him up in fantasy this year. And I'm like, oh, I made it. I freaking made it. But I'm in here with freaking Tom and Jay-Z, and they're performing the Holy Grail at the concert. And of course, 12's got backstage passes and just rolls in this thing like he's owning the stadium, which he did. And it was like one of those moments that I could say with 12 on the field, we have countless moments in my 4 years there that I could talk about. But that was one of those times off the field that I was like, it was super dope to just see, because I figured out that him, Jay-Z, I want to say was there too. KD was there maybe, Kevin Durant.
Maybe.
And so I think he was there too, but it was like one of those times that it was just like if you knew or you had that in, you were there. And I definitely didn't have that in. I was just rolling with the man. So that was a cool ass story that 12 kind of let me know that I was kind of handling my business a little bit to even be with him off the field and him to take me to that outing. That was bomb.
That's insane. Get to meet Hove, JT, KD.
Sliding backstage.
Fenway
Park.
Jules is just jealous right now.
Dapping up. I was at that concert. I was there.
You wasn't backstage with me.
Nah, I wasn't backstage. I wasn't there. What year was this? 2011? Nah, not yet.
Nah, he forgot the year. What do you mean?
My first 100 yet.
Boss, he's lying. Ridley's lying.